Okay, we'll continue with the diaries of EdiNachman. We're now in the year 1995. In 1995, I was working in Doncaster in secondary school, February 1995. In this month, I met uh, Lorraine, a girl I felt I loved for a while. We first met in a disco in January. She said to me, "You're a preacher, aren't you?" I said, "No, a teacher." She said, "A preacher," and more or less insisted. I said, "No, a teacher." We left it with her not believing me. We had a wonderful talk that night, and I felt she was very beautiful. I had seen her around town before, especially on karaoke nights in the White Bear pub. In my eyes, she stood out in her natural beauty. The night that I met her, my spirit was disturbed as I slept, and I had a dream the next morning warning that with her there would be trouble ahead. The next time I spotted her in town, I avoided her. I had rung a number and found it false. I had also had the dream warning me against a relationship with her. A little while later in town, the White Bear pub, she came in and came over to me and asked me why I had been avoiding her. I told her about her false number, fear, and my dream, and about my dream. She ignored the dream and said she was very fearful of giving her number out, and so I had given a false one. She was so friendly that we got reacquainted. When it came to my birthday, I had no one to spend it with. Workmen were putting central heating that had cost £5,000 into my house. I couldn't really stay there. She welcomed me around her friend's house, usually who babysat for her. I arrived at the house and we bought a Chinese meal. It was very close to the place where the van I had arrived to Doncaster in back on August the 29th, 1994, had just cut out. About 7 miles from where I now lived. We were in a garage. A company had just helped us to get the van filled with petrol and left. As they left, the van just cut out. I went for a walk, found the Chinese takeaway on Low Road, Barlby, almost opposite the Milby garage, as we broke down. That night we talked, and then I took some photographs. She was an unbeliever, but she seemed so nice. What of it if she doesn't believe? I knew what an awful Christian marriage was like, and I certainly didn't want one of those. Perhaps I thought my dream wasn't about her after all. Perhaps it was just a dream. I discovered later that we can so easily get sucked into the devil's plan for our lives, a plan to destroy us and cause us to lose touch with God's plan for deliverance. But I also discovered, or was taught, that God is a gracious God and faithful to his word. He works for our good, always, and delivers even when we are at our lowest point. So I enjoyed that night at Lorraine's friend's. I discovered he was into some really dodgy spiritual practices which had a deceptive wisdom about them. He told Lorraine that he liked me. He also told me some of his motivations and his way of thinking. Take what you can get. Even if people do you wrong, sort it out so you can keep the benefit of a relationship and get your wrong righted, or what was stolen back. He was very worldly wise. October 1995. Friday, October the 13th, 1995. I decided I would definitely move to Blackpool from Doncaster. I had started thinking on Blackpool from February when I spent half term in Blackpool with a John Butlin and his friends. Back in February, Gary Wollstonecraft felt I should move to Blackpool. He felt this on the first day he met me. He had said to me there was such a work I could do. He reconfirmed his thoughts a few days later. The Lord had given many indicators like the dream he gave me of being in the college in Blackpool. 2 weeks before I got there, I also had 2 weeks before I got there. I also had a certain feeling that after a certain time I would move there. When I decided I was actually staying in Blackpool at the time, I also ended up, after spending all my money apart from the last few £100, booking a driving course in Blackpool without being aware that the intensive course was in Blackpool until I decided to book. Sunday the 15th of October 1995. My spirit enjoyed worship in church this morning. My spirit came to rest and said to me, "I'm about to speak to you." The preacher at this point prayed and then read Genesis 12, 1-3. Now, the Lord had said to Abram, "Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curseth them that curseth thee. and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. I had just decided to move to Blackpool, and although I felt this word confirmed my move, deep down I felt the Lord was talking about somewhere else. That Sunday evening or morning, I went back to Doncaster, intending to move straight away to Blackpool. Tuesday, the 17th of October, I went to a prayer meeting at Shirley's house in Goldthorpe Road in Doncaster. During the meeting, prophecy was given by a lady. I felt the prophecy was significant, although I didn't hear it all. One bit I did hear was, "The Lord will go before you and will be behind you." I was not listening properly, but then I suddenly realized the prophecy was important to me, and the Lord said to me, "Trust in the Lord, and you shall be established. Believe in his prophets, and you shall prosper." That is, trust in Yahuwah, and you shall be established. Believe in his prophets, and you shall prosper. In these days, I did not have yet the name Yahuwah. So I'm reading the diary as it is actually written, although the name Yahuwah was revealed to me later. I jumped up and asked, "What did she say in that prophecy, please?" and quoted those words of Jehoshaphat. Wednesday, the 18th of October, 1995. I received the word in my spirit by song. "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am the Lord that healeth thee." At this point, I was still intending to leave to Blackpool straight away. Thursday, the 19th of October, 1995. I awoke and opened the Bible after praying in tongues. My eyes fell on the following words: "Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide spoil with the strong." My eyes then shot across the page to the following words: "Depart, depart, go out from there. Touch no unclean thing, go out from the midst of her. Be clean, you who bear the vessels of the Lord. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for the Lord will go before you, and the God of Israel will be your rear guard." This word confirmed the prophecy given on Tuesday night, which had said God would go before us and behind us, and which I had considered so important at the time. We had been called to believe back there on Tuesday. Later on Thursday, I received the following word from Shirley: "Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill brought low. The crooked places shall be made straight, and the rough ways smooth." Saturday, the 21st of October, 1995. I just have down that the Lord is going ahead of me to prepare the way. Friday, October the 27th, 1995. Mum went to be with the Lord. I had been believing for the healing of the cancer. This morning I woke up bright and early. I began to pray in tongues for Mum. She had had a contortion on the night before. I felt to ring her, although this was the first time I had rung her at this time of the morning. I rang at about 8 a.m. Arlette had said she couldn't speak, and he didn't know whether it was worth me speaking to her. I said, "Let me speak to her." I spoke over the phone to her, encouraging her to keep her eyes on Jesus and to keep believing. 10 minutes later, I received a phone call from Monica, telling me that the mum had gone to be with the Lord. Monday, November the 6th. Dream about Lorraine and family. I had a dream where at the end it seemed a phone call was received, and the family were called into the room. The news seemed to be that someone in a hospital was dead. The dream itself was about Lorraine taking on a lodger because she was not able to pay her rent to keep her house unless she did. For some reason, she had some guy moving into her house who was moving out of my house. I told her to watch the gossips. They were moving beds out of my house. Then I think Lorraine tricked me into getting out of her house, and it was after I had taken all my stuff and gone back to mine and returned to Lorraine that some news came through and all those of our family were called into a room. I think we were called by Owen or by someone else, but someone had been in hospital and the bad news seemed to come from there. Monica burst out crying. I thought Owen might also have been the one referred to. I didn't see Jacinth or Dad. There were many people around, but we, the family, were called into a room, I think at Lorraine's. She had said earlier that she had set me back a bit. Good morning, son. She had sent me back a bit, financially. Sorry? Once more? Oh, you're dry. Well done. Good, son. I think at Lorraine's. She had said earlier that she had set me back a bit financially. I said it doesn't matter. She pretended she was coming to my house, but didn't. Something was brought in Neto's where the trouble started. Wednesday, November the 15th. Linda, who was about 20 years a Muslim, was born again today, in Manchester. This brought a lot of trouble on her from the Muslim in-laws and threats to take away her children. We couldn't really get access to her after that. This was with John, Pastor Yale, and I. She had been completely determined to get born again. I wrote a prayer for her and left her a Fred Price tape and another tape. Sunday, November the 19th. John and I prayed to meet a sheep as we went to Liverpool for a Korean meeting. We went to the university, but met no one. We then lost directions to the church and spent time looking for them. We then headed out to look for the church. We found one who had been looking the one we had been looking for. We found the one we had been looking for. We parked away from it. We then walked 5 minutes to find it. We did not find our sheep there. We headed back for the car, and on the way back I saw a lady who looked like a Muslim. I asked her the way to the mosque. I realized she was the sheep we were looking for. I asked her if she had been looking for truth. She said yes. She was looking for the truth as to how Judaism, Islam, and Christianity could be one. I explained to her that the reason we had met was because we had prayed to meet people looking for the truth. I shared with her, but John kept on interrupting and contradicting. However, she left us her number and we left her ours. She rang John's the next day to see if we were genuine. We lost contact. Monday the 20th of November. Went down to Southampton, supposedly for the week. A guy called Chris started talking to me in the Students' Union. I shared with him a little bit about the Nigerian Christian Fellowship. I believe he was a sheep. I gave his address to someone from the Christian Union. Tuesday the 21st of November, 1995. Spoke finally to Yemi and the Nigerian Christian Fellowship. I had found his number on a poster in the Students' Union. I had discovered he had lived in Blackpool and had attended the very church the Lord had already indicated to me, Blackpool Christian Fellowship. I hadn't been yet, but he asked me to say hello to someone when I got there. He told me to pass on his address to any African students I happened to meet. Wednesday the 22nd of November, 1995. I saw an African lad who looked at John and I. First we weren't sure why he was looking, but we realized after a while that he was a sheep. We both couldn't be bothered to go and talk to him. Then finally we went over to him. We asked him if he was searching for the truth. He said yes. I explained to him it was no coincidence that we met. I took his details and gave him the details of the Nigerian Christian Fellowship and Yemi, as Yemi had asked me to the night before. Thursday the 23rd of November 1995. A thought on Romans 8:28. At any point in time, base your life on the unchanging God and the changing man. We are changed from one degree of glory to another. The Lord will teach us every moment of our lives as we wait with eager expectation. This doesn't mean we wait doing nothing. God's purposes shall surely come to pass. When they come to pass, our spirit will testify with God's spirit that He has done it. There are no wasted years in the Christian life. Even wilderness times are productive times. God controls the times and the seasons. In Jesus' name, in Yahuwah's name. Amen.